Hi, I'm Chad, and welcome to my show. Let's jump into things. One of the most exciting stories for me personally is Saints Row: Gat Out of Hell, a new sequel, not really an expansion, but it sure does feel like it for the Saints Row franchise, following the story of Saints Row 4, which was already pretty batshit crazy. After defeating all of space, essentially, in Saints Row 4, plays a Ouija board and summons a portal into hell, and then the boss, your main normal character, is sucked into hell, and Johnny Gat and Kinsey, that super hot, detective hacker that I really like, follow you into hell to chase after you. Set up a lot of co-op options as well, just based on the fact that it's specifically those two characters, though I'm sure Pierce and everyone else will. I was going to say, I don't think of any other characters' names. Yolanda or someone? There's like a guy that's like T-Pain, essentially. Here's the thing, love Saints Row. Most of the characters are super dumb. They're very lovable, but they're just like weird joke delivery vehicles. Does that make sense? Like, I don't really actually care about Johnny Gat. I don't really actually care about Pierce. They're just there to be different character archetypes to set up jokes. And they're also teasing a bunch of new weapons and everything kind of makes Saints Row a signature series by being super ridiculous. And the fact they're going to hell means you're going to have a bunch of pop culture references and they're going to see different characters. I'm sure you fight Hitler at some point. I'm sure God is Hulk Hogan. I don't know. Saints Row, you could hire me. I can kind of do this. It's pretty easy. I don't know why I'm knocking Saints Row. The franchise is pretty great. They definitely took a very dumb franchise, it was Saints Row 1 and 2, and felt like a GTA clone, and they realized they could make fun of themselves more, and suddenly it's transcended GTA's whole, like, isn't it super dark and cynical that we're talking about how life doesn't really matter and money doesn't really matter? That's GTA, essentially. I just saved you all of the games, except one time you're black. One thing I think is worth noting is how essentially Volition and Deep Silver are doing episodic content in the Saints Row franchise without really talking about it. So you had Saints Row 3, a bunch of expansions. Saints Row 4, while great and you could play it by itself, was really just using a lot of the same stuff from Saints Row 3, and they used a lot of the same assets and Steelport as a city. No one really knows exactly how much on this new one is going to be completely new. They said the city is going to be smaller than Steelport, but you even can tell, like, if it's hell, you could definitely make it be Steelport, be like a joke about Steelport is hell. You see what I'm going? Essentially, they're reusing a lot of assets, a lot of ideas and characters, but they're putting them out at a faster schedule that actually makes the games feel like episodic updates that you can play individually. Kind of interesting, kind of cool. And also, is the game going to run out of ideas eventually? I mean, they've already gone to space, they've already started to do time travel, always teased about it, now they're going into hell. Like, I feel eventually you're just going to run into a wall where you can't do anything to step it up to the next level. Like, until the player essentially becomes actually God. Though, a Saints Row God game would be pretty cool, because that genre has been lacking for a while. And in the Dota 2 scene, which I'm the only person on YouTube that seems to care about it, Techies are coming out. Techies are the worst and best character in the game of Dota. They teased them earlier this summer at the International. It was actually a great reveal during the MVP game. Everyone's kind of just surprise picked it. The crowd went nuts. Techies are a terrible hero, but they're so different from everyone else in Dota, because they're not really about like attacking and setting up like kills, and I know that sounds crazy. Essentially they place mines, that's all they do. You know the guy in GoldenEye who just ever put proximity mines and he never would fire a gun? That is Techies in Dota. The reason why he'll change everything is because you're going to have a bunch of people who are not good at the game just be absolutely destroyed by hidden mines. People who are really good will just easily shut down Techies. This is why it is great. Techies, because their mines are hidden until you buy sight, absorbing items like a Necronomicon book or Sentry Wards. These are all things that are crucial to the game for support players, and people actually get better at the game, and no one ever does at the low-level trench. Now people will have to. They'll have to basically get support items to keep themselves from getting killed, or the lower-level play matchmaking in Dota will just be the worst, and everyone will just pick Techies. Anyway, it's very fascinating, very cool to see a long hype train build up. Valve has been teasing it forever. They said at the end of August we would get Techies. We got a blog update this weekend for an update that comes out next week. So, not as great. Really like to have played it during Memorial Day weekend, but still great to have some news. Also, along with a few main core updates to the game, mostly just keeping griefers and people who are just mess with the game and trying to hurt their team, punishing them more than they normally would. There's still no actual core patch, which people have been waiting for, especially since after the International, there's been no change to a few heroes that are kind of OP and just picked in every game. Here's the situation. If Lycan is so good that if he's not picked in a match or not banned, and the casters just say instant GG to whoever picks Lycan, regardless of skill, he's too good. He needs to be changed. And that's what people have been waiting for patch 6.82, hoping to come out with Techies, and no update. So I have this theory that's also completely, totally true, that Nintendo has a supercomputer running somewhere that calculates the algorithm for what is the peak number of people that can essentially buy the new Wii or the 3DS. And as soon as it hits that number, that's when they release the new console that they've already had ready, the upgrade. I mention that because there's now a new 3DS, making my beautiful 3DSL already feel obsolete. I just got it like last year. Can we just wait? No one was asking for it, but enough people now bought it. Clearly Nintendo has said, yeah, you need to upgrade. What are all the new features? I'm glad you asked. I wrote it down on this iPad because I didn't want to memorize it. Let's see. There's a ZR and ZL buttons, so essentially they're hidden in beyond the normal L and R buttons. It can be very confusing. There's a new NFC reader built into the 3DS used with Amiibo, which honestly I thought was already in there. You know how the Wii U came out and they announced some Amiibos and they're like, by the way, it's already had that whole reader this whole time, and it felt like you just kind of been lied to. You didn't know there was a secret reader in your console. I just assumed that was in the 3DS. I guess not. So if you want to use Amiibo with your 3DS XLs or whatever Smash Brothers game, then you gotta get the new one. Better screen visibility from different angles. Why? It doesn't matter. That only helps people who are on the plane next to you trying to watch you play a video game. Pointless. The ability to swap out covers with templates so you can put your sexy Tharja from Fire Emblem all over your 3DS and then wonder why everyone stares at you in college, because you also are playing your 3DS in college. A second analog controller, it's a cute little nub, might be the worst, no one can tell, you gotta touch it first. A faster processor, alright, sure, cool. It's bigger and lighter than the old 3DS, though only lighter than the 3DS XL, based on the math I did. That's probably wrong. And we get why this is confusing to parents, right? Like, all of this, it's called the new 3DS. That's it. So, every parent's gonna come in and go like, I want the 3DS, and you want the new 3DS, and they're like, look at it, and you're gonna have like a guy at GameStop talk to you about Amiibos and figurines and NFC readers, and they're like, I just wanted to get Mario. So we get Mario for the kids. Sorry parents, Nintendo's terrible at names. So there's some technical improvements, there's a little new like side micro SD card you can hide in the back. But other than having an upgraded system you could just get in case you want to get a new one, this feels honestly like it's kind of punishing us a little bit for buying on early. I know that sounds silly and, oh, the angry consumer I am. Essentially now, when you have a 3DS with new buttons, that kind of sets a new development path, right? Like, they're already gonna bring in Xenoblade Saga. Shit, I should read. Xenoblade Chronicles, not Saga. That's a game that's gonna require the new 3DS because of the extra buttons. So if you're a developer and you're gonna make a game for the 3DS, now do you make a game that forks in those extra 2 new buttons? Do you make a game that doesn't use those buttons, and now those buttons are just dumb side extra things that are only there for like 2 or 3 games? You see how just that little thing now keeps me, as someone who's bought into the 3DS, I'm punished a little bit more if games start going the way where I need that ZL and ZR. But that's probably not gonna happen, right? Because there's a giant install base for people who don't have the new 3DSs. So it'd have to be at least a year or 2 for people to buy the new one for game developers to start saying like, we need to start making that, oh man, we have the strategy game, you really need that ZL, ZR, it's the tits. Can I say tits? It's a girl YouTuber's channel, right? By the way guys, super hot in here. I have an AC usually running and it's so loud, I turned it off for this video. I am sorry if it's just drenched with sweat. You either pick average sound quality and me not sweating, wait. You either pick average sound quality and me sweating, or terrible sound quality and me still being fat but not sweating. So you gotta pick, and I chose for you. And as for stuff revealed this weekend at PAX, also I'm super sad I wasn't there. To anyone who actually would have liked to have seen me, I am sorry, I had to be here because I don't do that job anymore. I miss all of you. Anyway, of the games that were revealed at PAX, the best one to check out is called Firewatch, and it's different than a lot of things I've seen in a while, at least based off the initial gameplay trailer and demo. This is a game made by a small indie studio with a pretty interesting pedigree. I believe it has the composer for Gone Home, 2 of the writers for the first season of the Walking Dead video game, and the designer of Mark of the Ninja. What the game is, it's a first-person adventure, almost like a puzzle game, where you are set up as a firefighter in the woods just to watch and tell people when fires are. You're a human Smokey the Bear, essentially. And all that is supposed to be a simple story, but very clearly, even in the first demo, you can see that there's very insidious stuff going on. You're just like, you chased after some kids or sent off fireworks, which feels real good to me. I like yelling at kids and telling them they should stop having fun. and when you come back to your fort, you'll see that the entire place has been broken into and someone's trying to find something, and there's something more of a secret going on in the woods. I love woods secrets. Also, the illustrator Ollie Moss, who's pretty big on the internet, also is on work in the game, and you can kind of see his style, that kind of like retro suave over everything. Very, very cool. Check out the trailer and the gameplay demo. Guys, I ruined Smash for myself. I'm sure if you're at all a fan of Smash Brothers, you've been following the leaks that have come out in the last couple of weeks, or the leaks that have happened just forever. They're just part of Smash all the time. There's always just a fake leak. Someone's sure that all 150 Pokemon are actually going to be all playable in the game. They always have a source. This newest set of leaks, pretty legit. If they had actually faked it, they would have to have made new art assets that fit the Smash style for characters that no one was expecting. I'm just going to put a spoiler gap here if you're trying to somehow not know about the roster. Okay, you innocent people who skipped that, I wonder who you are. All the characters that have been announced so far, like Duck Hunt Dog and Duck, that is amazing. That'll probably be the best character ever. Or Bowser Jr., like not like Koopa Baby as his son. It's very confusing. There's a lot of like small baby Koopas running around. He's great. I love him. He has a little kind of like those clown pods he flies around in. It's going to be great. Dark Pit. I know Sakurai, you made Kid Icarus Uprising, but God, no one cares that much. Like a dark version. Also like Dr. Mario, a few other clones, a little disappointing. Anyway, pretty cool leaks, right? Kind of a cool roster. With the official reveal of Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles, or Saga, or one of the Xenoblades, I forget. They all sound generic. I never played them. When Shulk was one of the characters revealed, sorry, I have a bird in the background as well. Don't get birds, they're allowed. With the reveal of Shulk as an official trailer, who's also in the leaked stills, it's pretty much confirmed that that roster is completely legit. It also kind of proves that there's a reason to not reveal your secrets of a game. I get why Sakurai was so protective and secretive about it, because when Shulk came out, no one's cared. Everyone's like, oh cool, confirmed the other ones, now we already know. The same way people were hyped when they showed Charizard and Frog Ninja Pokemon that I had on my team, I'm forgetting the name of. When they showed that one, people were so excited because they had no idea. So it's an interesting idea to show how much you should protect secrets. Sometimes we're not spoiling it for yourself. Also, that dude's totally fired. The story seems to be he either worked for Nintendo of America or worked for the ESRB that was running the game. Or it could be a girl. Could be a girl that stole the game and leaked it for the internet. Why? Why did you need to do that for the internet and get no money or credibility because you did it anonymously? For 4chan's V board? That's not worth it. They like Dark Souls and only Dark Souls. It's not that good of a game. And by no means did Dodger want me to turn news into some sort of political platform, but a news story I think is very, very interesting to anyone in this entire gaming internet scene is a story of Comcast and other cable companies trying to shut down other alternatives for high-speed internet in the small town of Chattanooga. Who knew that Chattanooga was so cool and so hip, was setting up a broad electrical grid to stop outages across the entire town, but that whole network allowed them to also install high-speed internet cables to the entire city based on the city's own dime. So essentially the government kind of just said like, we'll help you have high-speed internet. And it's crazy fast, like 1 GB per second downloads, nothing at all comparable to what the internet has as far as providers and competition. And actually you can see, if you follow the story, there are direct petitions from the major cable companies saying they shouldn't do this because expansion can be dangerous. Like, it's just crazy evil people stuff. Crazy evil people stuff. They have no reason to stop it other than we'd like to be the only provider there. If you look at any story as far as where Comcast or Time Warner Cable, or that's your only options here in America, if you see wherever they're trying to fight a smaller town, or wherever like Google Fiber goes up, for example, the speed from Comcast and Time Warner goes up drastically because they know they have to compete with the other provider. Also, the prices are way better, the service is better. There needs to be more options like this, and it's very fascinating to see what I guarantee is 95% chance your internet provider is trying to do to stifle competition. Sorry, that's not funny or fun. It's kind of a bummer. I'll just send you a link to the article worth checking out. Guys, they're the worst. Not Comcast, Time Warner, not Chattanooga. Chattanooga's okay. I guess that's the news. I hope I didn't botch it up too bad. I'm sorry. It's probably for the sweat, bird sounds. Just moved into the new apartment. Haven't got my sound equipment stuff yet, so I apologize. The lighting's okay, right? Makes this seem okay. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you don't know who I am or want to see some of my stuff, you can check me out on the internet. I do a bunch of different things. I do a podcast called Parent... Oh God, I'm sweating so much. Oh God, just leave this in. I do a podcast called Paranoia Shop where we talk about conspiracy theories and spooky paranormal stuff like the Goat Man or the Mothman prophecies. Very, very fun stuff with my friend Aaron Walke. You can find that on paranoiashop.com. I also do a podcast with two of the guys from the Continue Show, Paul and Dom, where we read Goosebump books. We just started doing it and it's been really funny so far. At least for us. I don't know if you laugh at it, but it's been really funny for us. You can find it on YouTube at /GoosebudsPod. We're also going to put that on iTunes soon. And you can find it on my own channel. I've been trying to do some stuff on the side. I do a series called Riff Raff, where I watch video games with a few friends, and we make fun of them. The first few episodes have been up for a while, making some more right now, so check it out, and let me know what you think of it. Meanwhile, in the sex dungeon.
Oh my god, is this going to be a Stockholm Syndrome?
You're a good girl, Elise.
Yep.
Is this robotic?
Be brave. Don't cry. No matter what happens.
That would be fucked up if it was just Dr. Robotnik telling that.
Yeah, if you cried, you would definitely be a weak female character in this game.
Mr. Sonic.
Just call me Sonic.
Mr. Sonic's my dad.
Well then, are you okay?
I'm so glad that you came.
He's a fucking
I
mule.
always keep my word.
Sonic!
And the word is chili dogs.
Chili dogs, guys!
Chili dogs, guys. Oh, have you been next to that this whole time? I'm super hot and sweaty. Thanks for watching.